Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. So basically, the previous video was almost kind of like a prelude to this video, and hopefully you guys will enjoy this one. Got my nice trusty board over here, have my 1852 Paulson series chess set pieces for comparison, and also I have the quad weighted plastic tournament pieces just because they tend to be quite similar. The other day I was at the imperfect section and I ended up finding a chess set that I was just posted the morning of, and I looked at it and I thought to myself, like, this is a really nice set. This is a really nice set, and I read all the things that was wrong with it, and I thought to myself, I think I really want to get this one, just because I felt like I didn't want to pass it up. It was just different than some of my other sets, and I really liked it. And also, the wood that this particular chess set is made out of is like one of my favorite woods. So anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So today I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at the House of Staunton. This is the box. The House of Staunton, the Modena Luxury Series chess set. I hope I said it right, Modena. So this was on the Imperfect website, on the Imperfect section of the House of Staunton, where basically, they're selling off chess sets that are damaged, or like I was having some comments from some of the people saying that maybe it has to do with the way that the wood is processed or insufficient drying time. Hard to say what it was, but anyways, ended up getting this set for it was originally for about 675, and I got it for about 190, which was, for me, it was really substantial. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. One of the very first things that I noticed is that when the box came, a little bit of a disappointment. Not too bad, but still a little bit of a disappointment. The box came, a bigger box than this box was within it, and the tape was kind of broken off like this, just like this. So no tape over the actual box, so it was broken off. And then when you look inside, I'm not going to tip it over too far. No little baggies around any of the pieces, so I'm guessing, when they get this set back, they look at it and they're like, well, now we're down $700, so no reason to rebag this set. Just set it out, take pictures of it, and put it out on the Imperfect section, on the outlet. So that was a little bit of a disappointment for me, because I'm a new buyer. I'm not the same buyer. If I was the same buyer, that wouldn't make any sense. But I'm a new buyer of this set, and you still end up paying a price. Yeah, it's like 75% off or somewhere in that area, but I'm still paying quite a bit. And it would have been nice for them to actually take a couple of extra baggies and rebag all the pieces and set them in right. Because, that's how they always ship all their sets, is they have them all nicely bagged. And then the queens have the extra little bit of padding right around the crown so that the little spokes don't get broken. Well, none of that was here, so it's okay. But the knights weren't like fully embedded into their styrofoam places, so as a result of that, one of the knights, and I'll show you up close, ended up getting slightly chipped off. So that is the biggest disappointment for this entire set, is that one of the knights, the main, you'll see in just a second, has one of the spokes missing. So I didn't really like that, but let's go ahead and take a look. This particular set on the House of Staunton can come either as a Boxwood and genuine ebony, or Boxwood and blood rosewood. So you can choose one of the two. I think the genuine ebony is going to be about $100 less. The genuine ebony, I think, is around $5.99 or $5.70 something. And then the blood rosewood is going to be slightly more expensive. It's going to be in the range of $6.75 or so. So if I had a choice between getting the genuine ebony and the blood rosewood, I definitely would want to go with the blood rosewood, just because for some reason, I'm a sucker for blood rosewood, because it's, in my opinion, and I mean, everybody has their opinion, but the way that the blood rosewood looks is just so like I feel like it's like the perfect wood color for a chess set that you can think of. But, you know, obviously there's other wood colors that are even more pretty. But in my opinion, if I had to choose like the perfect wood color, I would go with blood rosewood. Okay, like genuine ebony just looks like dark plastic, but it's a very big chess set. The king measures at 3.4. I mean, sorry, 4.3, right around there. So here's the king, and I'll take a look. I'll show you guys these pieces a little bit closer. Here's in comparison the king for the 1852 Paulson series. So this king's actually a little bit bigger. With the finial, actually makes it a little bit taller, but still both of the pieces are really quite well made. And then in comparison, if we take the king for the plastic set, yeah, we can see that this one's just a little bit taller. Now, one of the things, and I'm gonna show this up close, is when I was reading, and I was reading very carefully all the things that was wrong with this particular set. One of the things that was wrong is they were saying that the king, the inside of the king, the weight rattles in it. And so when you pick it up and you go like this, you can hear that the weight is rattling. I mean, that's not really a big deal, because as soon as I received the set and I picked up this piece, that's the only piece that rattles inside. And I went like this. Yeah, the weight was rattling. But that's, you know, really just a quick fix, because if you take the inside, and I still haven't fully closed it up because I wanted to show you guys. And really, I just took a nail and just scraped the billiard cloth off. On the inside here, we see a hole. And the hole, basically, it had the weight, and I'll show you guys the weight in just a second. So this little piece right here, that's the weight that went inside of the king. It's got this shape to where most of the weight is down here on the bottom, and then the top, you got this little tiny part that kind of goes into its place. So the hole is pretty much made specifically for this weight. If you put it in, and you line it just right, it goes right in, just like that. So, I mean, that's a pretty quick fix. You know, I'm gonna get some epoxy, mix it up together, put it in there, you know, make sure that it sits the way that it originally set. And then I'll glue the top on, you know. I don't think that's gonna be a really hard fix. So when somebody says, oh, you know, my piece rattles inside, like this, it's no big deal. We can fix it up. I mean, literally, that's just gonna take us just about a second. So when it comes to weight, and I brought my little scale as usual, we said the 18 Paulson 1852, and it measures at, the king measures at 117 grams. So that's a pretty heavy king, and you can feel it. It's heavy. It's heavy. This is really well made. Really, really nice. If we take the plastic one, it only measures at 66, so a lot lighter. Even though they do have the weight on the inside, this is a lot lighter of a piece. Now, if we measure the king with the weight inside, 120. So this one is actually a little bit lighter. So this one is 120 compared to 117. So 3 grams of a difference. So overall, pretty close, pretty close. Now, if we take the weight out and we just measure the weight separately, 85. And then the king by itself, 36. I wonder, I'm not going to take the weight out of this one, but if I take the weight out of this one, how much would it measure? So 36 grams, that's a heavy piece of weight, guys. Anyways, so after doing this video, I just wanted to show you guys, you know, where the weight goes. But after doing this video, I'm gonna mix up some epoxy and just get it back in there. Very bulbous, big part over here on the front. This is what I was talking to you guys about as far as this is where the weight goes. So there we go. Just enough space for the weight, and this is the actual weight. And so you put it right in here, just like that. It might need to have the old glue removed, but, and then you just, you know, glue it in, and that's what I'm planning to do, just take some epoxy and glue it in. It's really not hard to do. Maybe take this billiard cloth off and order some like really fancy cloth for your kings, and then just glue that on, like something like this fancy, you know. That's pretty fancy, because that's like leather or something. It's much more durable. It's just that the billiard cloth is very soft, so it feels nicer on the board overall. So there's the light king. Let's take a look at the dark pieces. So this is blood rosewood. You can remove these finials here like this, and also you can just glue them back in, I guess. Very, very pretty brown reddish color. I feel like in real life, when you look at the website for the blood rosewood, it shines a little bit more than this, but this is still pretty shiny. It's just, I don't know how they make it online, like shine super shiny, and then if you hit the light at just the right angle, this is actually going to look a little bit more red. But if you have other colors, this kind of tends to look different under different lighting condition. So very pretty brown color. Overall, the weight of this is 123. So probably another 86 gram weight in there, somewhere around there. So that's pretty nice. Alrighty, so let's take a quick look. Here's the dark king, and then here's the light king. Okay, very good, very beautiful kings. Here we compare the 1852 Poulsen, just because I feel like out of all my chess sets, it's the biggest one that I could compare it to. Color wise, we can see, and here's the plastic one. So there you have it. This part's very broad on this particular set, very broad overall. So let's go ahead and take a look at the queens. The queens are going to be very pretty as well. They've got this really pretty shape to them. There's a lot more detail here, and then the top has this little unusual way that you'll see all these pieces have the same sort of a detail to them. The queen measures at 109 grams for the dark queen, and then 101 for the light queen. So the dark wood here is a little bit heavier. Compare that to 97 for the Poulsen, and well, this is light, 53. So definitely very heavy and really well made. Like nothing rattles. They really feel good. As you can see here on the top, you don't have the regular like little ball, and everything sort of, because all these pieces, including the bishops, see the bishops have the same type of top. Everything sort of follows the same style. You have their usual sort of top here that kind of protrudes, but then when you look over here, it sort of caves inward a little bit, so sort of makes this look like a goblet on top. Then you have the extra little bit, because if we check for, like, in comparison, this is the 1852 series, it looks a lot different. So you have this major one, but here you have 3 of them actually, and all of them are cut. So there's a lot more detail as far as how it looks. And then the bottom, and it's about the same diameter overall, just slightly different shapes. So let's see the white queen here. The white queen, natural boxwood. Overall really pretty. Really well made. Nice billiard cloth, nice material. And then compare that to the Poulsen queen right over here. So they're a lot bigger right over here. And heavier too, heavier. And then we have the plastic one, Plastic one's going to be the smallest one out of them all. Rooks are also very, very pretty. The way that you don't see, like on the inside here, it kind of like, almost like a bowl surface. And you could see that, you know, every piece of this set has been made to have sort of the same theme, the same angles, so that when you're looking at this set, pieces don't look different. Because if you start to really analyze certain chess sets, you'll see that some of the pieces might have more round angles, but then some of the other ones might have more like sharp cuts. So, and when you put that set together, something just doesn't feel right. Where this particular set, everything sort of has the same angulation, same theme. Really nice rooks overall. Let's go ahead and measure. The dark rook is at 97 grams. The light rook is at 82. So once again, we see that the boxwood's going to be somewhat lighter. Compare that to 90 for the Paulson, and then 70 for the plastic one. I guess I could have brought out the genuine ebony here for comparison, but I figured it would just be too many things. So at least you guys know the weight of the pieces themselves. Really pretty rooks overall, very broad top, and yet when you look inside, it doesn't have that, you know, like a triangular cut inside. It kind of looks like a saucer. Makes it look really pretty inside. See? A lot more cuts, like here you got the extra little bit, and let's take a look. See what I was talking about? It kind of has more of a sort of sharp lines in here as compared to this one. A little bit bigger rook too, overall. You don't have the extra little bit on this one, so. Light squared rook. Here's the rook for the Paulson, and then the rook for the, let's push him over here. Very pretty. Beautiful rooks overall. So we're just trying to see as far as the height difference and everything. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bishops. So the bishops are really pretty as well. Everything just kind of has the same shape. They have these little extra little bits. Usually you just see little balls on top, and here it's really nicely made. Very nicely made. So the light bishop is at 57. The dark bishop's at 68. And compare that to, well, this one's a little bit heavier actually. This one's at 75 for the light one. So here, even though the bishop's going to be a little bit shorter, you can see that still a little bit heavier. And then compare that to the plastic one at 49. So there you have it. Really pretty. The cut is pretty normal, like pretty small, just like some of the cuts of the other chess pieces that I've shown you guys, but definitely a lot more of these side things. You could tell quite a bit more. If we take this and compare it to this one here, you can definitely tell that this bishop's a lot taller. Now the cut on this one's a little bit more what I like to see. A little bit bigger cut and just kind of just prettier overall. Here, the cut's just sort of like very standard cut through. And actually, surprisingly, this bishop is heavier. So the blood rosewood color is really nice, and like I was telling you guys before, depending on what light you shine at it, it may look a little bit more round, or if you play in some other light, it may look a little bit more red. So that's kind of the characteristic of this particular wood. Compare that to the smaller bishop of the 1852, and then the plastic bishop too. So that's what we have. I'm gonna get back to the knights here in just a second. I want to show you guys the pawns. Even the pawns, if you look at them up close, they have these little extra bit on top, like a little pointy part. It makes it look really, you know, unusual. Usually all pawns are similar. in this case, they're just a little bit different. Because like I said before, they want to try to follow the whole theme. Pawns are going to be weighing at 47 for the dark, 42 for the light. Compare that to 32 for the Paulson pawn, and then 42 for the plastic one. So here the plastic one's actually a little bit heavier. And if we compare the size of the Paulson pawn, which I always think the Paulson pawns are pretty tall, it actually is shorter, substantially shorter. And then here's the pawns, and then overall the size wise, if we look at like from the top, we can definitely see that the Modena sets has a bigger pawn overall. Bigger pawn, bigger base. This is the set where they definitely recommend a 2.5 inch square, just because these pawns occupy a considerable amount of space. And I feel like, you know, they say that an ideal pawn proportion is when you can fit 4 pawns on the same square. So you wouldn't be able to fit 4 pawns. Little pawns look pretty interesting too. Almost like if this was a different chess set, I would almost say that because of that little tiny top here, it almost looks like a bishop in a way. But we already know the bishop looks a lot different. But even the pawns like have so many different like details on top of them. Like this thing right here, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like quite a lot of work. Quite a lot of detail went into this. If we take a look at the pawn for the Paulson series, you know, that's a lot different. Look how much bigger these pawns are, and look at the difference in the diameter of these pawns. I thought these pawns were pretty big, but gosh, that's so much different. So much different. Paulson pawn is going to be like right here. A lot smaller, and then the plastic pawn right over here. Alrighty, so this is the knight you guys have already seen. This is the 1852 Paulson knight. Really pretty knight overall. Weighs in at 82 grams. And then this one was the plastic one, kind of very similar looking, weighing in at 60 grams. And then here's the knight from this Modena set. Here's the light one, and here's the dark one. Okay. These are very, very exquisite, very pretty knights. You know, they'll say that half of the price of your chess set is based on the 4 knights. So my guess is, yeah. I mean, the fact that they use really nice wood, but these are some very elaborate knights, like super elaborate. And they weigh in, let's take a look, 73 grams for the light one. And then 78 grams for the dark one. Let's take away the weight so we can take a closer look. These knights are substantially taller than the other knights for the other sets. They're taller, they're bigger, their base is slightly bigger, but if we compare the knights, we can see that the Modena set has pretty large knights overall, pretty large. Okay. You guys want to see something cool? Look at this. So I didn't even know this could work. I guess some of the sets where the knights are so elaborate, you can actually unscrew the base. Yeah. And basically there's like a screw in there. And on the inside, you have the actual piece where you just go in and screw it right back in. This is really, really cool. I don't know why they do it. I speculate. I mean, I could do research. You guys can tell me too. I don't know. See, you tighten it and that's it. 2 reasons. One is being that it's so elaborate. Maybe the machines that carve the chess, the knight head out, it's easier for the machine to cut out all this elaborate detail if we do not include the base. So maybe that is the reason, possibly, so that they can rotate the knight every which way. And then that way they're just like, well, our machine can't make this base and the knight at the same time. Maybe. As a result, they just end up making it like 2 pieces. Alternatively, it could be that, you know, even though you're not provided with an alternative knight, but let's say that you really like this particular set, and maybe there's a variation out there where you can get a different knight head, something a little bit less elaborate with like a smaller mane, maybe something closer to like a regular Staunton playable type. And basically you just buy those, like 4 of those for whatever, how much they would cost, and then screw it back on and get going. The thing about this particular knight is that if you guys remember the video where I did the review of the fitted briefcase, with the main and being how large it is, the fitted briefcase can get these knights in there without really a problem. But being that this is so much bigger and it has all this extra stuff, you can't really readily fit it into the space for the knight. As a result, there's a problem as far as how do you transport these pieces. If you have like a little chest box or a chest box big enough for these pieces, then I wouldn't feel safe just putting all these pieces on top of each other, because you're likely going to have a problem with potentially just breaking off the main, and then it wouldn't look so attractive. So this would probably be a situation to get like a chest coffer, to get one that has the space for the individual pieces, to where the space for the knight might be able to accommodate something like this. Okay, and this isn't the only set that has such elaborate knight. There's a lot of other ones. Like if you go to Chess Bazaar, actually there is a chess set called the Apache chess set, and the knight in that one is very similar in shape to this one. So definitely, if you guys are interested, check it out. This one's a little bit different. The Apache chess set, the kings, you will notice, are completely different, and the queens and every other piece is different, but only the knights look very, very similar to this, very close. The knights are like what makes this set so pretty. Let me show these knights one at a time. So you could see take a closer look. That's so cool. And the teeth. Hopefully this won't be too dark for you guys. Look at that mane. I like the jaw muscles right here. Kind of makes that knight look a lot more fierce. And like I was saying, you know, that's one of the trickier parts is with a mane like this, it just makes it a lot harder to find the proper storage box for one of these, just because I feel like that those pieces on the mane can break off. If that knight drops, then you know you better expect some of those little pieces break off. Very pretty, and the wood is just so pretty overall. And what I was showing you guys before, just you put a little bit of pressure and see. Actually, the reason why I found it is that when I received the set, it was partly unscrewed, and I thought it was broken. But yeah, you just kind of unscrew this, and then voila, presto. The inside and the inside of this. How about that? Everything screws in and you got the piece. Really, really kind of interesting. So that's pretty cool. If we look at the eyes, this is something we've already seen before. Got these little weird looking, like almost drill holes on both sides of the eyes. So that's something too. Then you got the ears. You got one ear here, and then on the other side. So the ears are like pointing backwards. Kind of cool. Very fierce. Very slick looking knight. All these lines, I mean, think about the amount of detail that goes into it. It's got a little belly right here. Pretty cool. But yeah, very, very, very slick looking knights. When I saw this was the most disappointing part of the whole chess set. Right there. on the very top. I don't like that, and I don't know how to fix it. I could take a file and just smooth the sharp edges and just say, yeah, that's alright. I could maybe use some kind of a wood filler or something and try to match the shade as best as I can, and maybe just do a little bit of, take like a paintbrush or something and just drop by drop reproduce that piece in there, because it's not a whole lot. But if I were to do that, that would probably make a lot more sense. Yep, light squared knight, dark squared knight. It's the knight for the Paulson set. And then here's the knight for the plastic one. So I know, you know, I've done reviews of different chess sets, and I get so carried away at showing like the individual details of the pieces that I just simply forget to show how it looks like on the actual board, like all set up and stuff. And I've had some people comment, they were like, dude, can you show how it's gonna look when it's all set up, you know, like maybe do a few moves and everything so we can take a look. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I mean, that's the whole point, is, you know, to be able to show you guys how it looks and everything. So just a very, you know, this would be like a king's opening. So just like a, you know, maybe like a 4 kings. You know, something along those lines. But you could tell that even the pawns here, they occupy a pretty large portion of these 2.5-inch squares. So if you had a much smaller board, you'd probably feel pretty crammed overall. Pretty crammed as far as, you know, the pieces go. So let me show you guys under a different angle here, okay? Couple of shaky shots over here, just when you guys take a look. See how the pawns look. Very pretty overall, very pretty set, and I feel like the pieces contrast very nicely with this particular board. So as I was saying before, I mean, honestly, I feel like this, just in my general opinion, and I haven't seen a lot of really good chess sets, but this is like one of the prettiest chess sets that I've ever had to actually see firsthand. Yes, the Paulson series is my second best, and I feel like the Paulson series chess set is like really well made. But this one, for the just the detail and the finesse and the fact that you could tell even the pawns have like all this extra bit, it just makes it that much better in my opinion. So well, anyways, so that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys liked this particular chess set. Let me know in the comments below, like, what do you think about this one? Also, what do you think about, you know, an imperfect chess set like this? Because I know I've had some mixed comments on when I introduced this topic last video. Just kind of let me know, and you know, hopefully you have enjoyed the video. And if you did, press that like button, and also subscribe if you haven't done so already. So anyways, thanks guys for watching, and until next time, see you guys later.